Is it recording? Okay, it's recording now. So the meeting will be called to order here at 5:30. Present, we have Michael Paulson, Cara Espera, John Tutenhoff, Wendy Smith, Justin Burris. The meeting has been properly noticed and posted according to law. Now we will move to consideration of the meeting minutes for April 11th and June 13th. And then I'll turn it over to you, Wendy.
Okay, good evening. This is the meeting of the Shorewood Board of Appeals on today, Tuesday, August 8th. Before we get into the item number 4 on our agenda, which is consideration of our meeting minutes, Toya, I believe we have one other attendee who may be our applicant, just to let you know that there is another person in the room.
Is there? Oh, hello, Dan. Thank you. I did not see him. Hi, Dan.
Hi.
Thank you.
Okay, so before we get to that item on our agenda, item number 4 on our agenda is consideration of meeting minutes for April 11th, 2023 and June 13th, 2023. And do members of the board have commentary on the draft minutes as proposed?
No.
No, I don't.
I don't either.
Okay. Toya, I think we may have more than 5 board members now. If 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the attendees
Yeah.
list. So do we want to clarify who exactly is acting as a member at this meeting?
Well, I don't believe Allison has.
We'll happily drop.
You, well, there it is.
Thank you, Allison.
Yep.
So Allison, you could either stay on, or when it's time to vote, you won't vote.
Nope, I will drop. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, moving back to our minutes. The only thing that I had noticed on page, let's see, page 4 of the agenda packet, which is the meeting minutes for June 13th. Number 4, I believe that should say consideration of meeting minutes for April 11th.
Okay. All right. I will make sure to note that. Thank you.
But otherwise, I didn't see anything else that needed correction.
Okay.
Okay, so members of the board, do we agree to approve the minutes as amended with that one correction? All those in favor say aye or yes.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no opposition, those meeting minutes are approved as corrected. Okay. Okay. I do have a 4-year-old that is standing right next to me, so just one moment. All right, I'm sorry about that. Okay, moving on to our next agenda item, which is item number 5. In lieu of having our village attorney present, we can go ahead and summarize what the standard is for our meeting today, and I'm okay with summarizing our standard. Tonight we have a request for a variance. So in general, our standard of review here on the Board of Appeals is in accordance with the Village of Shorewood Municipal Code, where the Board of Appeals may hear appeals from persons aggrieved by administrative orders, decisions, determinations, and may hear and grant applications for variances and exceptions to the zoning provisions of the Village Code. For a variance request, in consideration of an application for a variance, this board may hear and grant such an appeal as will not be contrary to public interest, where, owing to special conditions, literal enforcement will result in practical difficulty or unnecessary hardship, such that the spirit and purpose of the municipal code shall be observed and the public safety, welfare, and justice secured. Specifically, our criteria for granting a variance in accordance with our village code section 535-58, no variance shall be granted by the board unless it finds all of the following. Our two criteria are there must be exceptional, extraordinary, or unusual circumstances or conditions applying to the lot, parcel, or structure that do not apply generally to other properties in the same district. And the granting of a variance would not be so general or recurrent of a nature as to suggest that the zoning code should be changed. And the second criteria is that the variance will not create substantial detriment to any adjacent property and will not materially impair or be contrary to the purpose and spirit of our municipal code or the public interest. Okay, so those are our two criteria that we must find in order to be able to grant a variance tonight. With that in mind, we'll move on to item number 6, which is a request for a variance of Village Code 225-7F to maintain an air conditioning unit at residential property 3521 North Maryland Avenue. And to begin, just mentioning to the board members, we do have materials for this request for variance in the agenda packet, including the application and supporting materials, starting on page 7. And I suppose we can get this started with a statement from Inspector Burris. Toya, can you help swear in Inspector Burris?
Yes, Inspector Burris, can you raise your right hand? Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay.
Yes, so on April 20th, 2023, an HVAC permit was issued for the installation of a furnace and AC unit. And upon final inspection on May 26th, a notice of correction was issued identifying the location of the unit to be in the side yard setback and a violation of Village Code 225-7 parent F. The village received the Board of Appeals application on July 7th, 2023. The applicable zoning regulations are that air conditioning units may not be located in front yards or rear or side setbacks. This property is in the R6 zoning district, where the interior side setback is 3 feet. The conditions of this lot are that it is legal non-conforming both in the lot width. It is a 30-foot wide lot. The minimum required is 40 feet. And the lot area is 3,771 square feet, where again, the minimum is 4,500. So it is behind the home, so it is in the rear yard, but still in the side yard setback.
Okay. Do members of the board have questions for Inspector Burris at this time?
Yeah, so the original application actually had it in a properly zoned location. They don't specify.
Sure. So most of the applications that we receive do not illustrate the location of where they intend to place it.
Oh, okay.
I have nothing.
Other questions for Inspector Burris?
No.
All right, hearing none. Our applicants are Dan and Allie Exner. I'm wondering if there is a representative attending that would like to provide us with a statement. If so, make yourself known.
I'm Dan Exner. I'm the applicant on behalf of my wife and myself.
Hold on. Dan, can you allow Toya to swear you in quickly?
Sure.
Mr. Exner, can you raise your right hand? Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
So Mr. Exner, perhaps you can explain to us the request for this variance and your reasons for needing placement of this air conditioning unit in its current location.
I think the application pretty much spells it out. I think any logical person that walked into my backyard would see that this is really the only place that the AC unit could go. You know, I'm talked about the side yard and the setback with the tech as they installed, and they agreed, like, it's pretty much the only place it's gonna go. It's behind a privacy fence that was built before we bought the property. Wasn't aware of all the non-conforming small lot size, but again, contributes to how much space an air conditioning unit needs to be, right? Yeah, I guess I'm not sure what you guys are looking for in a statement, but yeah.
Well, our criteria for granting a variance requires us to find that there is some kind of exceptional or extraordinary circumstances relating to your property specifically to where you cannot comply with the ordinances as stated. So the specific reasons relating to your parcel or your lot that would prevent you from being able to put the air conditioning unit anywhere but the side yard setback. So is there anything unique about your property as compared to, say, other neighboring properties or other properties within your location that might give us some reasoning to grant the variance?
Lot size, is that legitimate? Like, that's kind of, you know, like, so we placed it in the picture provided. You can see, right, there's a stone back patio there, right? This was everything you see in the house except the AC unit was there when we purchased it. So patio was already there. There's this perfect little 2-foot spot between the patio and our privacy fence that is just big enough to put the pad for an AC unit. It can't go in front, can't go inside based on my lot size. So it has to go in the backyard. It either needs to be, like, I guess I'm just not sure where else it would go. It's close to the house so that the wiring can run into it. It's behind a privacy fence. I recognize the spirit of the regulation is to not put your AC unit right next to your neighbor's patio and place it away from yours and the noise pollution. Again, we're talking about a lot size that's 30 feet across. So regardless of where this unit goes, it's the noise impact is going to be essentially the same. I guess the only way to keep it close to the house or where the wiring can just go right in would be to tear up the stone patio. And as I understand it, this AC unit is about 6 inches past the offset. And so it just seems like an undue burden to have to tear up this whole stone patio to move an AC unit 6 inches further in when it's going to make no material difference on our neighbors. Yeah, I don't know. Tried to explain it all in the application. Again, the photos I think are pretty self-explanatory. I guess if a variance isn't granted, I don't even know what the process is, right? But I genuinely have no idea where this thing is going to go. So yeah, I don't know. And when we talked about it at the time of install, they said specifically, well, Shorewood tends to be sticklers about these offsets, and so absolutely do not put it on the side of your house, or we'll have to charge you to move it here behind the privacy fence. Like, we think there's enough offset here. I guess the map got pulled, and yeah, it's 6 inches into the offset area or something like that. I'm not totally sure, but again, it's behind a privacy fence. I'm not sure.
Thank you, Mr. Exner. The board may have questions for you in just a moment, but perhaps I could ask Inspector Burris. Can you confirm that this is, if we're talking about like encroachment into the side yard setback, do we have a number or confirm that is a 6-inch encroachment, or what, is that accurate?
Let me run a number really quickly here. So there's 4.14 feet on the south side of the house, from the house to the lot line. And looking at the picture, the unit is, say, approximately 3 feet wide. So it's closer to, say, like a foot and a quarter into the setback. But again, materially, yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'll open this up for the board to ask questions of Mr. Exner regarding his property or the nature of this request.
I have a question. Based on the last picture that's in our package, which shows kind of your backyard patio and you can see the ferns, and I'm looking at the neighbor's house, the impression I have of the neighbor is that that must be a stairwell or something. The windows that are closest to the air conditioning unit, is that a stairwell going from the first to second floor? Whoops, you're still muted.
Sorry. I genuinely have no idea. I've not.
But okay,
It
but
appears-
it's
there's like the window there is not like a standard window, so that would be my guess, or it's a yeah. I really can't say with any certainty what section that is.
okay, but it's at least apparent that this is not a major window of the neighbors into a dining room or something, a living room. That's clear.
Correct.
Okay. I have nothing further.
Again, to the best of my knowledge, I want to say to
Right.
the best of my knowledge, that is correct.
Thank you.
Is this a new installation or is it a replacement?
It's new.
It's brand new.
Did your contractor advise you as to any other alternative locations where this could go? Like, for example, you previously mentioned that the patio area, which is directly in front of kind of the piping or electrical access point to the house, were you advised that the air conditioning unit could not go in that position, or what other options were available to you? Why couldn't it be moved slightly over to be in line with the house?
To be in line with the house, it would be on the stone patio.
Does that mean that air conditioning unit cannot go onto a stone patio?
I'm not really sure. I don't recall exactly what was said about where it was going. I guess it potentially could go. It sits on a concrete pad right now that they level out, so they would have had to do some kind of attachment or some kind of base to ensure that it's level and that it's balanced.
Other questions for Mr. Exner at this time from board members?
I don't have any questions right now. You guys already asked them.
Okay. Hearing no other questions for Mr. Exner, are
Can
there
I
any
just-
other statements you'd like to make?
I'll add, we put it right next to our patio. Like, we're not trying to avoid hearing it when we're sitting outside, right? Like, it's literally right next to it. So it wasn't like, oh, we don't want this out here while it just, again, if you look at my backyard, is the most obvious place for it to go, without any sort of like, again, digging up the yard, laying wire to go back, further back into the yard and running to the house, or tearing up a portion of this patio or placing it on some sort of leveling thing. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, final call for questions for Mr. Exner. Hearing none. Let's close this session and open up deliberation amongst board members to consider whether this request for a variance can be granted based off of our mandated criteria, which is, again, exceptional circumstances and essentially an absence of detriment here. So Mr. Exner, you can stay on, but we're going to open it up to discussion amongst board members now.
Unless someone else wants to jump in, I'll give my 2 cents first and go from there. It seems to me that we can reasonably grant this variance because there are conditions applying to this lot that do not generally apply to other properties in the area, in the sense that this is a 30-foot lot. It's definite, although there are clearly other 30-foot lots in the village, it's not a standard by any means. So this is not something that's going to be generally applicable to other properties where you have a situation where the side lot is so narrow that there's no place to put it on the side without requiring a variance. And given the small, undersized nature of the overall, not only side width, but area of the lot, we do have a situation that we can call unusual and not generally applicable to others, in that there are limited areas for an appropriate use of the property for a air conditioning condenser. So it seems to me that we can meet the exceptional circumstances portion of the requirement because there are conditions applying to this lot that do not generally apply to other properties. That is the unusually small size and the unusually narrow width of the lot. There does not seem to be any detriment whatsoever, in the sense that we are not up against privacy concerns or noise concerns with the neighbors, given the location and the essentially blank wall that this unit is close to, and given the size of the lot. As Mr. Exner pointed out, the noise difference from this location to any other location is going to be minimal. And so therefore, given that we're meeting the underlying concern of the ordinance of protecting against, it seems to be, noise interference with neighbors or the given structure, we're not doing anything that would violate the general purposes of this side yard setback requirement. And for those reasons, I think we can find a variance is appropriate under these circumstances.
Thank you for that, Mike. Any other comments from board members at this time?
Yeah, I concur with Michael here in the fact of the non-conforming lot on both width and area volume makes it difficult. And it sounds like, even though we're doing this, it's coming in a little bit backwards, that the installer took in the consideration of other spots that were clearly not going to be conforming. And came up with a spot that they actually have right there right now. And since that isn't a detriment to the neighbors, I could see granting the variance.
Thank you, John. Any other thoughts?
No, I agree with what's already been said. I think it's been summed up pretty nicely from my end.
Okay. Would anyone like to propose a motion on which the board may vote?
Wendy, Cole was muted.
Oh, I'm sorry, Cole, do you have a statement?
Oh, no. It was pretty much just agreeing with everyone. I was just wondering the same thing. Can you move it onto the patio? And it seems like that's not really an option because of the leveling, and what needs to be done, to get that unit over a little bit further, the 1.5 feet or wherever it needs to go to be in compliance.
Great, thank you, Cole. All right. Is anyone prepared to make a motion on which we may vote on this request?
Since I started the discussion, I'll start with I'll
Thank you, Mike.
raise the motion. I move that a variance to Village Code 225-7 sub F to maintain an air conditioning unit at a residential property 3521 North Maryland Avenue be granted because of the unusual circumstances and conditions related to the size and width of this lot, mean that a variance would not apply generally to other properties in the district and would not be so general or recurrent as to suggest that the chapter be changed. And similarly, because there is no evidence of any detriment to this property or adjacent properties.
And do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, John. Okay, I believe we're ready to proceed to a vote. Toya, can you help us with a vote, please?
Sure can. John Tutenhoff,
Aye.
Cara Espera,
Aye.
Wendy Smith,
Aye.
Cole Heinrich,
Aye.
Michael Polson.
Aye.
I think that's everybody. Motion carry 5-0.
Mr. Exner, that means your variance has been approved. I believe you'll get some form of official communication from the clerk's office documenting that request is approved.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your time.
All right.
Does the contractor need to be notified?
I can.
We'll
when
follow
I
up
s-
and notify
yeah.
the contractor that they're good to go. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Justin.
All right, with no other items on our agenda, we can adjourn this meeting. Do we need to vote on adjourning the meeting? I suppose all those in favor of adjourning the meeting say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Good
Any
night, all.
opposed? And with none opposed, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much and have a good evening.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at
Thank you.
5:58.
Okay. Good night.